Hi, welcome to Ravisoft. In continuation of our arrays and for loops, let us discuss bit deeper and bit advanced level and bit complex level, which is how the real world works, right? So let us see. We have discussed for in and off in our earlier video. Now let us see. We do some mathematics on it, right? So let us take marks, student marks as a number array, and we have given 3 subject marks, 56, 78 and 65. What I want to do is I want to add this and print the total of these marks. How do I do that? So let's take one initialization value. Sum of marks is 0, sum is 0 basically, and we take each mark, we run a loop on it and take each value in the array and add to the sum, and we continue the loop in a similar way. Right? So let us see. We declared a variable is a number, not an array, just a simple number variable, and initialize with 0. When you put the 0 while declaration, it's called initialization. Now let us see. We run a for loop using off here. That means in the std marks, whatever they, each one their values, each one will get into MRK mark, and in the next loop the second value will come 56 and then 78 and then 65. 0th index, first index, second index. That's how it comes, right? And mark, and I am adding. What is the value in sum marks in the first loop? That is 0. So we are saying 0 plus equal to MRK. That means we are adding to 0 MRK values, that is 56, and storing back to sum underscore marks. So now the sum underscore marks MRKs will contain value of 56, not 0. This 0 is replaced with this sum. Now the next loop will come and std marks the second index, the 0th index is over. That means 78 will come the first index and stores in MRK. What is the value now? Sum of marks is equal to mark. So this should read like this: SUM underscore equal to. We discussed this in earlier video also, just in case if you mark. This statement is means this one. Right? So for a shortcut, it is defined like this, and many languages support this kind of format, right? So sum of marks is 0 first loop, and then 56 plus 78. What are the total value? It replaces the sum of marks. Then third loop, then fourth loop. So it prints the total value once you're done with this. Let us run and see what is the value. I'll comment it out for now. We'll open it again. So TSC, Typescript compiler, and the TS file name. Compiled. Now I am saying node file name, but we have to give JS file name, JavaScript file name. See 199. The total is 190. If you add this, it will come 199. This is how you have to write logics for the requirement. Here the requirement is adding all the numbers in an array. Okay. Now as exercise you can do add 3 different names, and all the 3 different names concatenate and show it here in the output. Write your first name, middle name, last name, and show full name as a print, right? So you can do this as a exercise. First name, now you know what are the data type of variables you should take for this string variables, and then print array of strings and print the single value as a full name. Okay, hope this is clear. Now let us open bit more complex scenario. Now we have a marks, right? Whose marks are these? We don't know, right? Just 3 marks. But in a real world scenario, it is like every student name and then marks. But can you store both name and marks in a single variable, single array? No, right? Because array allows you one data type. Array string variable allows string variables values, and number variables allows number values. But how to store both? The name, which is a string, and the 3 subjects of marks into a single variable. You can create multiple variables for each class, for each student. Student name equal to name, student number equal to marks equal to this array of marks. But how do you link this name and marks? Which we don't know, right? If you have 2 different variables, you cannot link that. You cannot, okay, this student got this marks. You cannot say that. But in this scenario, which we want is to store the student name and his or her marks into a single variable. Let's see how it works. Let us take a variable called student data. Now, what is this data type of the student data? We discussed this earlier. You can pause the video and check and find out. If you know, type your answer in the comment section. So it is a tuple, right? Tuple can allow both 2 different data types, string and array of numbers. Right? Here, now I see is a name Vinod, and then is marks, and then Vani and her marks, and her marks. Like this, you can store array of tuples. So this is the array. You see the tuple declaration of this, and then array symbol, right? 2 square brackets. If that around data types, there is 1 square bracket, and after that you have 1 square brackets. So this shows it is a student data is an array of tuples. That means multiple tuples you can store into one variable. Each tuple contains student name and his or her marks, right? So this is a tuple is useful for storing data into our program. So now the idea is not only just storing the data, but to print the total marks of each student, right? I want to add these 3. I want to add these 3 and print student marks with the student name along with it. So let's see how it solves. So whenever you see array, and to add these numbers, you have to loop through this array and take each array and sum it and print it. So whenever you see an array and you want to addition, subtractions, you have to do something on that numbers, you have to loop it, right? Continuously you have to go each index value and then take the value out and then do the mathematics and continue your operations, right? So whenever you see that kind of scenario, think you have to apply for loop. Knowing for loop is different from applying the for loop. So you should know where to apply for loop here, right? So in this kind of scenarios, you should think, okay, I have to apply for loop here. So okay, I take for loop. Now value of student data. What is the value of student data give you? The value contains in the first loop. It is not full marks, right? It is a first tuple you will get. Total thing. The name as well then the marks you will get it. So value is again a tuple, not a single value, single array or single number. Right? It's a tuple. So value of 0. How you access the tuples and values inside tuples? Value of 0 contains inside this tuple. The value of 0 comes is the name. Value of 1 contains the array of marks. The same thing here. 0 and in this array. So see that this is a tuple. These are different tuples, and this is the name, and this is the value of array of marks. Similarly here. So always value of 0 is name, and value of 1 is this one. This value changes. For every loop, it picks 1 tuple and put into this value. And next loop, it will the second tuple, it put into this value. And third tuple, it put into this value, right? So that's how it works. So once you have these marks, now we have to use the same logic as we have done before. Take the sum as the initial value and add each marks in that array. What is the array? Value 1, not value, right? Value is the tuple and value of 1 is the first location. There is 2 zeroth location and then first location. This is the value 0th location and the first location, right? This is the first location is total array, not just one number, right? So in this scenario, we take each value of from value 1 of marks. Again, you see this 2 for loops of 2 of. Don't get confused. Okay, this for loop is running on this total tuple, array of tuple. So in this loop, you get first tuple into this. In the inside, value of 1 contains array of numbers. On this, again I am running a for loop. So it's called nested for loop. For loop inside another for loop is called nested for loop. And take the value of 1 and value of mark of value. So that get this first you will get first in a first loop. In the first loop of this, you will get 45, 89, 99 in value of 1. You can print it console.log value of 1. You can see that. I will show you when I run this program. Then it takes 45 first value of mark value of 1. What is the value of 1? Contains this 45, 89, 99 total array. And first loop contains mark contains 45 and sum is 0. Here I declared initial value 0 and then adding this mark 45 into this. And second loop sum is already with 45, 0 plus 45, 45, and then it will go 89 and then it continues loop 89 and 99. Once this for loop is completed, the first tuple total is we got it, right? Now after this it will complete this for loop. Of this for loop is completed, not this for loop. In the first iteration, this for loop is done. Now second for loop starts. Now it takes the value of 0 as warning. Now value is second for loop, right? This is 1, index of 1, 0, and value of 1 is this tuple. And again same operation happens. So let us run and see how this program works. Right, now you see how it printed. So its total is this one is 1 total. We got this 199. Now you see this tuple starts from Vinod. So Vinod and his marks. So the value of 0 is this one Vinod. Value of 1 console.log. It is printing, right? It is total array. Now you took the array of value of 1 contains array. See, that's the reason mark of value of 1. I didn't put just value. It's a value of 1, first index value, right? So it prints total 233. Now the second loop warning and then it printed this array and then total value and Priya and this value and total value, right? This is how you have to loop through a multi-dimensional arrays and then work out your logic and print it. So this is the kind of logics will happen in your real world projects. So you have to understand this and familiar with this. You should get expertise on this. Okay. As an exercise, take another array of tuples and print. Right. You take height, weight, and do the BMI calculation. You can check any internet. You can search for on Google how to what's the value formula for BMI body mass index and print that. Right? You take a name of the person and then height, weight as a array. You take for each person and then you calculate based on the height, weight for each person. Calculate the BMI and print name of the person and then BMI. Right? Take array of tuples with name and height, weight, calculate BMI and print name and BMI. Also print person array also, like what we printed, like name and his height, weight, and then BMI. Okay. This exercise will give you a good understanding and hands-on experience. You should always practice on your IDE while watching these videos. Then only you will get the expertise. Otherwise, it looks like understood. But while that you really ask some question, or while writing the code you get stuck. So print your answers in a comment section and ask any doubts. If you're not clear, feel free to comment. Thank you.